Hey gamers, Sam here from Down to Top coming at you with a full game review video. Be sure to smash that like button if you want to see more content like this one on our channel. So if you watch our videos with any amount of regularity, you know that I love me some story-driven puzzle games. So I was super psyched when I was suggested to try out Alchemy Stars, and spoiler alert, I was not disappointed. So I want to give a special thanks and shout out to Alchemy Stars for both allowing me to review their game and for sponsoring this video. You can download the game from the link down in the description on both iOS and Google Play Store at any time, but stay tuned while I tell you about my experience playing Alchemy Stars. So, first things first, what is Alchemy Stars? Alchemy Stars is a JRPG title released on June 17th, and by looking at the gameplay for a few seconds, you might think it's just your typical strategy game where you move around the units, beat up enemies, and claim victory in a traditional but boring way. Well, that's definitely not the case here. The game is basically a mix of a couple of genres, while the unique line strategy RPG system the developers have created comes with its own set of surprising mechanics. Alchemy Stars seamlessly manages to merge both magic and technology in the world and in the combat. The game's innovative combat blends RPG, card collecting, and strategy elements. Featuring a colored tile system, each stage in Alchemy Stars presents a fresh challenge. The game's unique tile collecting gameplay allows players to unleash special attacks when matching the character's attributes with the correct colored tiles. Alchemy Stars further enhances its strategic gameplay by giving players the ability to change leaders multiple times, allowing for a more intriguing tactical gameplay experience. Story. Well, the story takes place in Astra, where Aurorians and Celestians have lived since the beginning of time, and while peace has been around for hundreds of years, a new and sudden appearance of dark creatures called Eclipsites have emerged. They're controlled by a dark organization from the shadows, so it is your classic light versus dark story. You will be one of the few remaining Celestians after the war with creatures of the dark, and by a small chance you get to start a new life by recruiting Aurorians and fighting the good fight against the forces of evil. This all sounds really cool, but how does that actually affect the game? Well, you'll get to meet a lot of different characters and socialize with them, so having a little backstory about the game helps to understand their purpose. Ocean Sovereign event. Alchemy Stars is finally bringing their outfit system to the game with the launch of this Ocean Sovereign event. It's a good move for the game to celebrate the season of beaches and enjoyment with their swimsuit collection for the lovely Aurorians in-game. Let's start taking a look with Vice, a 5-star Aurorian which has a beautiful ray of sunshine outfit, and next is Yuria, 4-star Aurorian which has a sea voice outfit. Next is Klecken, 5-star Aurorian with Black Lagoon, Carlene, 6-star Aurorian with Sea Breeze, and Icy, 6-star Aurorian with Onyx Iris. So there is one thing common in all, they look more beautiful in the outfits. My favorite characters. So before we move on to gameplay, I just wanted to show some of the characters real quick because these are some of my favorite ones that I really like the design of them. So in general, they're all super detailed and unique, but probably one of my favorites is Aria. Here though, design-wise of course, but she's also increasing the attack by 20%, and having a good attacker is something you really gonna wanna have in this game, because there's a lot of requirements to stay. So both of her different skills are attacking skills you can throw up in front of the captain. And also my first 6 stars here, Icy, I really like as well. She's more of a damage dealer, but also what's known as a converter, so her active skill can convert to the 4 nearest blue or green tiles to red, and then of course if you're going on red tiles or if she's your leader, mostly she'll do a Void Gaze, a pretty strong attack to 2 different enemies. And another one of my favorites here is Vice because of her massive damage range. And also that bow is sick, but pretty much she just has this crazy huge range. You can have her as your leader, and that way even if you're super far away from the enemies, you can still use the tiles and regardless. And you know, if you use the blue tiles, then she'll do that chain combo thing. Regardless, she's just a really nice character, and if you're not too close to the enemies in their massive range, then she is definitely your girl. So now let's move on to the gameplay. It might look a bit imposing, but the basics are actually pretty easy. Each turn you will pick a color, and you can walk on each of the tiles that are touching the same color. The more tiles you walk over in one turn, the more damage you get, and the prettier the animations are. It quickly becomes much more complicated than that, but the game does a decent job of explaining its new mechanics as they come up. I'm more than a few chapters in at this point, and the game has introduced a ton of new mechanics, enemies, game modes, and bosses, and yet I really don't feel overwhelmed. The only complaint I could find about the gameplay is that it can be rather random, but in my opinion that's actually positive because you have to try to make the best of a random situation. There are also things like active skills that allow you to control that RNG to a decent extent. All this adds up to gameplay that's rather skill focused and seems like it will be a lot of fun for a while to come still. Event. Alchemy Stars has just released their newest event and is called Ocean Sovereign. The whole event is divided into two parts. The event itself starts on the 19th of August, with the first part being released and second part dropping on 9 September and ending on the 29th of September. In these events, players can look forward to different types of challenges and events as well as new skins for existing heroes. Apart from the challenges, in this event, each part will bring out new content and heroes as well as their stories. During the period of the Ocean Sovereign event, new time-limited story stages will appear as well as exchange redeem stores, and event quests will all be open to all players. The requirement to access and complete these stages will be cleared main stages 1 through 16. If I talked about the first stage event, then that has 4 new characters. So start with Pasolo. She is a 4-star forest converter. As a converter, she already has a point in her favor, with the drawback being only able to convert a single tile. She brings a unique utility where she can make a bridge over gaps, helping for parties without Aurorians. Then for the second one, Fleur. He is a 6-star Water Thunder Elemental Aurorian, which is classified as Sniper in-game. Fleur is a ranged sniper unit that deals massive damage to enemies marked by him and those that are under 50% of their max HP. He does this using his active ability, which marks targets and deals additional damage to them when he does chain combos. The third character we have is Bonassi. She's a 5-star Thunder support and she is only exclusive for the summer event. While she is being billed as a support, her active skill at first glance looks similar to Detonators. She can move smaller enemies in a chosen direction while also dealing map-wide damage. The enemies will presumably be clumped up in the selected direction. And the final one is Beryl. Beryl is a 6-star Forest Fire Elemental Aurorian that is classified as a detonator in the game. She's a great nuker for forest teams as she can deal massive damage to enemies in a particular area. Her damage increases when there are fewer enemies available with her acting ability. This ability also marks her current position, and if her equipment ability is also triggered, then she will perform this area damage to the marked position as well. Conclusion. Overall, my first week with Alchemy Stars has been mostly positive. The gameplay is unique and it seems like it has enough depth and mechanics to keep it interesting for a few years. The story is rather generic right now, but due to some genius game design, the characters are still allowed to thrive. So, when it comes down to it, should you give it a try? Yeah, I think that Alchemy Stars is worth giving a try. And even though this is a sponsored video, you know that only games that we approve will get showcased, and Alchemy Stars is truly offering innovative new gameplay for those who especially enjoy colorful strategy games. Besides it, they also have all those great rewards, the bonuses, and discount gift packs that are available by simply logging in and signing into the game. There's also special events running in the game where players can clear the quest to gain extra rewards. Alchemy Stars also features a mini game that helps Vice to make slushies, which will also be available. Overall, there's lots of in-game rewards like the Lamumbers, Prism packages, new character, Bonassi, so use the code SUMMEREVENT for 1 free character. Also, once you get into the game, come back here and let me know which of the characters is your favorite in Alchemy Stars. You can leave a comment down below. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us and we'll see you again on Down to Top.